Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Greetings, Algo artisans. We're going to take a look at this week's market forecast, and we're going to look at some trades that I'm considering taking on the Nasdaq, Bitcoin, USDCAD, EURUSD, AUDUSD, gold, and silver. Before we get into that, though, please take a look in the description. There is a freebie in there for you. It's a free algo. It's a very short video. You see me create a very basic algo. You have to optimize it before you use it, so don't just plug and play, but it shows you how I do it, shows you how I turn it into code using Grok AI, which you can use any AI you want at this point, and it shows you tools that traders use to connect this to their computer so it can trade for them as an agentic trading bot. Now, everybody's interested in these AI agentic trading bots. I assure you that you will require an algo for that to work. The algo is the heart and soul of that AI bot. So if you're interested in AI trading, look at that free algo. I spent all that time making it just for you. Go check it out. Also, about 60% of you who watch this are not subscribed. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share it with all of your friends. Okay, it is Monday, June 22nd, and it is about 7:30 p.m. EST. Before we get into the charts and the trades, I'm going to have a look here over at the upcoming market events, the data drops that we know are coming, and that's over at forexfactory.com. Today is Monday. It's pretty much done for the day. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Not much news going on, except for 9:30 p.m. EST, the Australian CPIs going on. So if you're trading any of the markets in Australia, or if you're trading AUD, USD, or anything Aussie, that might matter. Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. EST, more Aussie news. Their employment data comes out. So again, that can affect any Aussie markets. Thursday morning, 8:30 a.m. EST, we do have some inflationary and GDP data coming out for the US. So keep an eye on that. That can actually affect markets across the board, especially the Nasdaq or any of the Forex markets with USD pairings. And that's about it for the news this week. There are no more heavy impact events. Of course, there's always that chance that Donald Trump or whoever can say something about Iran and throw everything off that I'm about to say. So understand that these predictions I'm about to make are based on no surprises. Now, Monday's already over. Usually we get surprises about Iran or whatever it is on Monday. And so far we haven't really gotten them. There was some stuff that went on, but it's not really worth talking about. So we're just going to jump right into the charts and take a look at Nasdaq. Okay, so here's the Nasdaq. Right now, the algos are not saying that a lot's going on. That actually can change rather unpredictably. So Nasdaq had this massive move up. This move up going back to the beginning of March, all the way up to the recent all-time high. That actually was a very unlikely event to happen. That fast, that far up, was a 0.2% chance of happening. Not 2%, 0.2%. It was a 3 sigma, which still is very low probability. And then this big move down that happened within several minutes the next day and within one trading session, which is where price went from about here to there. That also was a 3 sigma event. So it was within just barely the likelihood confines of not breaking things. If it had gone much farther in such a short time, we would have to assume that something broke in the market. Now, there are those who argue the market's broken, but we're talking about from a trading standpoint, nothing broke in that sense. The market popped right back up, tested the highs, and probably is going to want to do that again. Now, this week, I just don't see a lot in the algos, but the Nasdaq is the Nasdaq, and there's a very high likelihood that rather than go sideways as I have mapped out, price could actually just continue up and up and up. Now, I don't like to short the Nasdaq on high time frames, right? If price managed to somehow make its way a little bit lower and retest these lows right here, then I would consider a nice long on that, right? And we could see that, market could get forced down to right at this level here, this blue, to match that low. That would be a lovely long. I don't expect it to happen. I'm not going to paint the chart with it. Okay, that's the only issue. I don't expect it to happen. So really with the Nasdaq, any high time frame trades, I'm being very conservative with it. I might consider a trade if it could bounce right here at this level where we see price bouncing a couple of times. I'll mark it a little more clearly for you, but that's at about 30,400, 30,348. I might consider those trades if price only made it down right to about here, right? That might be a place to consider long, but this is such a messy chart, very, very choppy waters. I probably would not trade this at all unless it made it down all the way to this clear area right there. And that's the only long that I would consider. So actually I will go ahead and paint that, just, make sure you understand that I don't think it's very likely to happen. If it did, it would be an absolutely beautiful long, and it probably would happen on the back of some kind of news. I don't think we're going to see an all-time high this week, but it is the Nasdaq. That can happen. And if, as a matter of fact, price does go up, then I would position myself for a long on the breakout, just understanding it's probably not going to make it all the way up to the targets, and I might have to cut this at the end of the week because I do not hold positions in anything over the weekend. So that's the play for me on the Nasdaq. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin kind of doing what I thought it would do last week, just sideways, ratcheting up a little bit and then deflating a bit. And I think we're going to see it either go sideways or down and sideways. Very, very simple. If price on Bitcoin could make a clear turnaround by retesting this level right here, 65,700, I would consider taking a short there. I would be careful with that short, but if it did retest it, I'd take a short and I would consider exiting pretty quickly actually. Or if nothing else, I would tighten up on my risk, right? So if price came down to here and I was in this short and it made its way down to this level right here, which is 62,216, what I would do is I probably would either be out right around that time, out of the trade, or I would maybe take half the profit off and take my stop to entry and then look to write it down. But I would certainly be out by 57,000 or so, even 58,000. There's in fact, 59,000 is an important level right there. So price might be pretty stubborn in getting past that. So I would do that. I'd look at that. That's like a nice short. I don't know that it's going to happen, but that's how I would do it and manage it. Let's take a look at USDCAD. Very bullish still. It is kind of pulling back a little bit, but I think that it likely will stay above 140, 140. So that's this blue line right here. So if there is a reliable bounce there, I would consider going long, but the problem is it is very, very stretched out long. Now it's been very bullish and not stopping. I don't see any reason for it to stop now, but I would just be really careful in taking these longs because when it's that far stretched out, the deeper into the long move you go, the more risky it is to take that long. And where would I go? I mean, it's really hard to figure out how high this will go. There's some resistance way up here at 145.47. I don't see price going there this week. So I just have a couple of trajectories where it's just going to grind up and to the right. So I would look for a reliable bounce somewhere around here, and it might take a while to happen. And then I would be out of it by the end of the week. And it's really even pretty difficult to choose targets on this. There's like no structure. So I'd carefully choose a stop loss right at the end of the week and then exit out. And that's just all I can say on this chart. There's really not much to talk about. If there is a rejection, it's a strong one. There could be a potential short, but this chart is so bullish, I'm simply not going to short it on the high time frame. Let's take a look at the euro. Now, the euro has been in this sideways pattern going all the way back, arguably to June of 2025. So a breakout from a year-long consolidation is very powerful, and price could break out farther and quicker than what I just drew, but this is a very high time frame scenario. If it doesn't break down, then of course we will get a move back up, and that's sort of the, range traders are probably all long already. They just buy the bottom right here. Right now, what I'm seeing doesn't make me want to take a long. It makes me want to wait for the short. So even if I get a bounce and then it comes out here, I'd be interested in taking a possible short. Now, what type of short would I take? Kind of a tough call on that because of the way that this structure looks right now. So I probably would just have to wait to see where this breaks down and make the choice. But I can tell you that price rotated back and forth in this distance every, 4 to 7 days or so. So if we get a breakout right away, we could see price make its way all the way down towards this 110.66, right? I don't know that it'll happen, but if I get a reliable breakout, and it would have to be pretty reliable on a high time frame, I would consider entering a short. Again, it might be so slow moving that I have to exit by the end of the week and then reconsider shorts after that. The other play is to be a range trader, which means they're probably in already and taking longs, right? And then they probably would manage this trade. They'd be out of half of it by the time it got to halfway through this range, that type of thing, right? And then stop to entry. So it is a double way to play this, and it still could easily bounce right here. It could, especially if the market slows down as it tends to do in the summertime. But right now, I think we're a little early. I think we're going to see more volatility before the typical August slowdown. I think we're going to have some action here in the next 5 or 6 weeks. Let's take a look at AUDUSD. Don't expect a lot from this one. It's been super, super choppy. We have some pretty clear boundaries here. We have a high up at 70896. We have a low down at 69782, and price may just break below that. Now, of course, the range traders might consider going long right here, but I don't think they would. It's not really building that clear of a range, maybe, I don't know, ask the range trader. I'm not one of those. So a lot of them would look for this to bounce here and go long. Sure, you could do that, but just like the euro, I'm expecting the dollar to get strong and pull all this. So the only trade I'd be interested in is some kind of a short that's very clear below that low. And if it doesn't happen, I don't need to trade, you know? It's not a requirement that I trade. Even if I get into this, chances are it's not going to make its way all the way down by the end of the week, but I would manage it so that I could extract as much profit as is possible based on my data. Let's take a look at gold. Not expecting a lot out of gold or silver this week, just a lot of sideways action. I don't have any trades I'll take with it. I'm just gonna move right on to silver. That simple, that quick. And there it is, same kind of thing. Just not expecting a whole lot this week. I could be wrong, sure, yeah. But right now the algos don't say a lot. So unless we get a lot of news, then you're probably not gonna see a whole lot this week. So that's what we do here at Algo Factory. We predict where price is gonna go, when it's gonna get there, how to extract profit from those movements. And if you want a preview of what we do, take a look in the description. There is a free algo. You have to optimize it before you use it. It's not plug and play, but we teach you how to optimize it at algofactory.tech. So go ahead and take a look in there. It's pretty awesome. It's free. It's the engine to your AI agentic trading bot, right? You need an algorithm to run an agentic AI trading bot, and that is what this is. So please take a look at that, like, subscribe to all that stuff. We'll be live this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8:30 a.m. EST. Okay, we do that on YouTube and Rumble every week. We're live at that time. So if you want to come on in and ask questions, if you have charts that you want to see, then come on in. I'm able to see YouTube comments, not Rumble comments, right? It just is what it is. So if you want to see a particular chart, we have a guy who's been in there every day lately asking for stocks that he likes. We'd love to help you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you 8:30 a.m. sharp.